Your hot station number one for news and entertainment. It is now 18:41, and that means it is time for Prosperity Insights right here with Rev Walter and the anchor Harvey. Is it what we discovered today, right?
Yeah. Now, this morning I wake up and my voice is gone.
Gone.
Like, seriously, there's a voice note I do every morning that goes out on my platform. And by the way, if you're listening out there, a big fat shout to you. Couldn't forget that.
I was waiting for that.
Yeah, fat shout.
The fat shout.
The fat shout. So a big fat shout to you. And also, for those of you who may not know, you can actually catch me every single day on all the leading networks with a voice note, a special inspirational voice note. So I do those every day. And so you just simply send an SMS with the words Rev Walter, REVWALTER, to each of the different networks. And if it's Airtel, it's 227. If it's MTN, it's 660. And if it's Zamtel, it's 367. So send those out there and you get my voice. So anyway, this morning, there I am. And I'm like, come on, like, geez, come on, I need to do this.
What happened last night?
I don't know.
What happened last
I think I was just
so if you're on Mingotainment right now, Rev has a new haircut, he's shaved, and it looks like he's going through a midlife crisis.
Yeah. I always make fun of that. No, for me, look.
Yeah.
You got to do these things, eh? Okay, you got to reach that point where you say, all right, let's do this. Let's get rid of a bit of the hair on the side, but I'm not dyeing my hair. I've refused to dye my hair.
You refuse, because the other time you were talking about how you want one day to start dressing up like me, and I believe that day was one of those days when I was smartly, youthly dressed.
Yes, like no socks.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to come to terms with that whole no socks thing. and then, you know, the tight fitting suit. Yeah, so but you see, to do a tight fitting suit, you got to have a good physique. So I'm going to be getting into the gym when I hit 50. That's still quite a bit of time.
Amazing things. So today is a Thursday, and it is quite one of those specials. And
yes,
we have a special guest in studio. Rev will be introducing him really soon.
Yes.
But then, you know, today's guest seems quite the inspiration to a lot of the youth out there.
Plenty. I mean, this man, I really admire what he does, because he is actually in the time that he's been running with his business. And what's amazing is when we do get to, you know, do his profile and I tell you his age, you'll be like, really? So you see,
I know.
You know what I mean? Yes, and it's because some people just are blessed with the ability to really begin making an impact as a result of a purposeful life early.
You know, and
for me, that's always a good thing. I'm always huge on youthful, young people with purpose and direction.
That is very important. So, Rev, I know you read, right?
Yeah.
Have you read Chilulemba's Finding My Voice?
Yes, but I have not finished it.
You have not finished it?
I'm like halfway through.
You're halfway through it. You haven't reached, you know, it's good, but you haven't reached the good stuff. How often do you read?
Quite often.
Almost
on a daily basis.
On a daily basis.
Yeah.
So have you had the chance to read Chilulemba's Finding My Voice?
Not yet.
Not yet. Please do make time to read that.
No, we'll read.
I
I
was reading that book this morning, and I was just finishing it. And I got a new sense of inspiration that just uplifted me. It just, you know how you can be low sometimes and just thinking, you're like, what's happening? And then just reading that book just literally, it revitalized everything that was in me in laying down.
I love that.
And that is the impact that books have. And I believe that is the sort of impact that he has.
Absolutely.
On a certain group of people.
No, not just a certain group, a very large group. And here's the thing that I love about that, Harvey, and that's one of the reasons why I enjoy coming to do Prosperity Insights, because I am aware that, I mean, today, just this afternoon, when I sent out this, well, I don't know if I sent this message out or it didn't come, and I don't know how it worked exactly, but somebody got the message. Oh, I think, yes, I get it now. I shared the fact that we're going to have him as a guest, and somebody, I hate it when this happens, and now they are like looking for the whole thing where somebody, and then this guy now gets back to me, and he here it is. Oh, thank God. He says, "It's an honor to have people like you, sir, Believe me, the first time I listened to you on radio, something changed within me. And on top of that, you acted as my speech coach. I always miss your program when I'm in Kabwe because of the frequency of Hot FM.
Let him download Mingotainment. We are on DSTV as well now. That is channel 912. So now, with that said, Rev, who is our guest?
So today, we're very, very honored and privileged. In fact, this is a guest long in the making because we should have had him some time back. And I don't know what happened that time. He'll let us know. But we just kind of got everything messed up and we get to the end of the time and it's like, oh, am I supposed to be on your show? Yes, you're supposed to be on my show. Like, guy. So he missed the show. This is about 9-10 months ago.
10
so
months ago.
yes, you know
That
how
is
it
a
is
long
with prosperity, and because the challenge with this show, is that we have such a long backlog of people that we have to try and get on the show. But beautifully, in God always does everything great in His time. So today we're very privileged. So let me do this. I always do this. He is commonly known as the radical entrepreneur. Okay, so just that term alone, I think a good number already have an idea. Oh, really? If they're driving, it you go, the cars stop, that traffic, beep, beep. All right, so traffic stopper. He's a 30-year-old outstanding Zambian entrepreneur making a global footprint. His life is a tale of rags to riches. Despite being born at a village, he has risen from a childhood of herding animals, believe it or not. Okay? To serving on numerous boards, receiving numerous local and international awards for his enterprising acumen, and despite having experienced 3 major setbacks in his entrepreneurial journey, he has still managed to build companies and become a market leader. He is currently championing an entrepreneurship revolution in the country. I can attest to that. Raising radical entrepreneurs. Currently, DLN Entrepreneurship Institute is his latest undertaking where lives are being changed even as we speak. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives us great pleasure for the first time ever on Prosperity Insights to bring right to our fore the one and only Dumisani Lingamangali Ncube. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
That always has to follow.
Wow.
Round of applause.
Nice one.
So, Dumisani, we're really happy to see you here. And welcome to our show.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It is my pleasure.
Wow, no, absolutely. The pleasure is ours as well. And so let's begin with the most basic, sensible question we always ask on such an occasion. Who is Dumisani Lingamangali Ncube?
That's an interesting question. Or should I say he's a male? And
He's a male, black in complexion, a bit short, a bit tall,
but very good physique. And very alert.
Oh, wow.
Go for it.
So Dumisani is an entrepreneur. That is the first line. Dumisani is an entrepreneur, commonly known as the radical entrepreneur.
Correct.
One who believes so much in entrepreneurship. I think that is the basic definition of who Dumisani is.
Okay, so let's begin this question. And first and foremost, you're a 30-year-old gentleman.
Yeah.
30. And at 30, the kind of impact that you're making typically is made by people in my age, 47 going 50. And in some cases, I guess they never even make that impact. Sorry to say. Which is the majority. But anyway, how did this journey begin? Because one has to ask themselves, how is it possible that a person at your age can be so purpose-driven? Maybe let's go all the way back to the very beginning. Let's begin there. Because we want to hear the spark. We want to hear the life-changing event. That's what we call it, a life-changing event that occurred to you, that triggered. By the way, sorry to kind of take this out of you very briefly, but when we're doing that whole quantum leap thing, he's an example of quantum leaping.
What was your quantum moment?
No, before I get to that, I want to illustrate. I want to make this point so that he really hits it hard.
Okay.
In all the studies on quantum leaping, there are there are many barriers. I won't go into them, but apparently there's 3 key ways to radically transform a person. The first is through the process of reprogramming everything in the subconscious mind. Much, much harder than it sounds. Using hypnosis, but I won't get into that. Then the second one is using repetition, which is how we all learned how to read and whatever. Now, the third one is the one that I want him to come and tell us where that happened. It's called a life-changing event. There usually is something that comes, it's so profound, it knocks all your paradigms, mindsets, and sets, and whatever things you have off the shelf, and you start afresh. It's quite rare. He knows what I mean as a Christian. One of them is when you receive Jesus, genuinely. But besides that, I just wanted to throw that in, because as you do your story, please, you must get to this life-changing, because we want to hear this, because you know very well, a radical entrepreneur, that we have a lot of people that are going to church, praying, fasting, doing everything, and they're just not seeing what you're experiencing.
Wow.
So, there, loaded. Go for it. I'll just be going,
Okay. So, Dumisani was born some years back. Back in time.
Some 30 years ago.
Oh, yes.
I like that. 1989, to be
So it was
specific.
down the farms.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of Nampunda Mine? It's
Yes.
down McKinney Road.
Yes, very, very far
McKinney
down.
Worst, yes. It was at a farm, a village set up, thatched house, no electricity. In fact, interestingly, I normally say that I first saw electricity when I was 10 years old. Like, but what is this?
No.
What is this? At 10 years old. So I grew up, heading goats, and of course moved to Keto. Just that normal village setup.
Because I'm waiting to hear the story of how you started your school.
My school. So my school was done at a certain. Then it was a community school before
Correct.
it was given to the government. So there's some farmers that had done a community school. Yes.
To help the kids and the.
Yes, to help the kids.
I
Yes,
hope
yes,
Auntie.
yes, yes.
I hope Auntie Ennis is listening to this. Do you see how powerful your vision is, Auntie Ennis? Go on.
Beautiful.
Because she's running a community school and
Ah.
using her own resources, and it's an amazing story. I'll need to connect you to that so that you see what they're doing.
Oh,
Because
beautiful.
with your passion, I think you can really help these poor kids.
Wow, that would be great.
Yes,
that would
go
be
on.
great. Yeah, so outstanding things in my primary school days were that I was faring pretty well in school.
In
Pretty
spite
well
of
in
it
the
being a community school.
Despite it, but by the time I was getting to grade 4 thereabout, it then became a government school.
Oh, I see.
Yes, it is called Chikwama Mid-Basic School.
Okay.
And in fact, it is the first school that I saved as the PTO chairperson years later.
Really?
Yes, but then it moved to become a government school, and then I was there, faring pretty well, quite outstanding. And I remember very well at one time, grade 5, I would literally get everything right.
Wow.
Then they decided to say, okay, fine, what we'll do with this young man is that we'll make him skip grade 6 to get to grade 7. So I skipped a grade, and I was still the highest in the new class, the new grade.
So we must also admit right now, Harvey, that this gentleman is a natural
Yeah.
brainiac.
He's a brainy. He's a brainy. He's what you may call in the modern day a nerd.
Absolutely. So because definitely for you to be, passing high grades and stuff, it just means you just had it.
Maybe. And that is where the name Lingamangali comes from. Lingamangali is a name that I was not given by my parents.
Really?
So I decided to give myself Lingamangali. Lingamangali is a Ndebele name that means don't be surprised.
Wow.
So it was among us those things.
Very prophetic.
In a new grade, knew everything, and you're still the highest. And
You
those
know.
Yeah.
So you had a thing for just excelling.
That's the thing.
Midas touch. Gold.
So
Go on.
Primary school got done, went to Matero Boys.
But let me ask you, just before we cross into the Matero Boys story.
Yeah.
When did you, as a child, recognize you have this gift? Because remember, a lot of people find themselves in your situation, herding goats and cows and stuff. When did you say, since you had that gift for school or ability for school? Because unfortunately, currently with the child marriage issues and the poverty in the village, everybody's just rushing to sort of get these guys off their chain and just get them to perpetuate that lifestyle. What was the differentiator for you at that early stage? Is it your parents who just had that passion? I ended with school umwana?
Well, I think parents played a role. They encouraged us to be in school.
Oh, I see.
Yes, so from a very young age, I actually had this interest for school. So it was just there. So it was the normal thing to do. And interestingly, I don't come from a place which is too typical, but it's a place where people, appreciated school.
Amazing. I asked this question because obviously you talk a lot about environment. In a lot of your talk, you talk about environment because of the fact that you feel we must disrupt the status quo by radicalizing our thinking. So I just wanted to get this background. I wanted to hear, what was it that, prompted you to discover this gift for school, obviously?
Well,
at primary level.
And not just school. I think I started discovering that I was slightly different. Then, like, take for instance, I had certain cousins who were saying, I would feel so nice if I could be a driver. Driving, one would say, driving trucks.
Yes,
trucks,
because obviously you can beat
the truck and trailer. Then would have others say, no, not your truck. Very nice car. I'm just driving a boss, You just drop your boss, then the car is yours.
Correct,
like you can.
Correct.
Then at one time I said, but why would you wish to be a driver for your boss? Why not
be the
boss? Nika boasting, kamfana.
So already you can tell how fun this conversation is going to be. But on the other side, we continue with this. It is still Prosperity Insights on your heart station number one for news and entertainment. Still listening to your heart station number one for news and entertainment. So Prosperity Insight does continue, and today the guest is Dumisani Ncube, and it is quite the show. Already things are heading up in here. So Rev.
Yes, indeed. First of all, thanks Joseph for tuning in and listening in. We're definitely passing regards. Joseph is passing regards to you.
Oh, thank
there
you.
must be a number of others who've sent messages, but then I've got 270 messages. So I'll read them. You know what's up. Now, let's pick it up. So, yes, you were literally, I had asked you that question, and you say that why not be the boss? Why should you wish for something lesser? So anyway, you go to Matero Boys. Pick it up from there.
Matero Boys, grade 8. I was keeping up in Matero then. Matero Boys, getting to grade 9. You see, there are a bit of difficulties in line with, just how to make ends meet, break time and whatnot. So I had that kind of a scenario where it is break time and you'd have friends who are from Mayadi buying Apple Max. Then it was Apple Max and a pie. It was like the in thing.
Correct.
So some of us, it would be
Emma's across from Emma's there.
Yes, from Emma's there, and so for us it would be Ziggy. You carry sugar and likely you had lockers then.
Yes.
So just put your sugar, your 1 kg sugar there. Then every time at break time, you just put water and sugar.
Mix it up and
life goes
go.
on. Yes. So now it was quite difficult then. Then I thought of seeing how I could, make ends meet. And interestingly, I had a very good pamphlet, and it was a geography pamphlet precisely. So I had a couple of friends who were interested in the same geography pamphlet. So what I told them was, wow, I can give you this geography pamphlet. All you might have to do is you can just pay me. I photocopy it for you. Not for an exaggerated price, really. But what I did is I identified a certain stand at Sit Market and negotiated with that man for a very good price.
Discounts,
yes. So for a discounted price. So what they would do is they would pay me, and then I'll deliver the following day. And that is how I made my first profits. So it started from there.
Nice.
I didn't put in any financial
because they would come with the issue. You had the pamphlet already.
I had the pamphlet
All
already.
you had to do is just use what we call sweat equity.
Clearly. So I didn't really put in and go in that. And the business grew. So after closing school, I got to the farm or to the village, as it were. Then I realized that they had difficulties finding simple necessities like, salt, sugar, relish and whatnot. So it was out of that I felt, okay, wow, why not sell stuff to these people here? Because the nearest place was Nampunda Mine. So Nampunda Mine, you'd literally ride the bike for about an hour or so.
No.
If not more. So I felt, okay, fine, I can be selling this. So I started selling simple stuff from the pamphlets profit. I would sell salt in very small sachets, sugar in very small sachets, cooking oil in fact, then it would be like if I have 3 bottles of cooking oil, those 750 mils, those small bottles, I would say.
Yes.
If I have 3 of them, then I would say, hey, we are stocked up. Because it was so small, and we used to sell in small glycerin bottles, which are 25 mils, yes. So it was something very, very small.
Okay.
Carpenter in small packs. And
I mean, basically, you were breaking it down to a level that they could afford to purchase.
They could afford, yes.
Okay.
Yes. And interestingly, amongst the things that I was selling, do you know Kasepa? And I like talking about this. You don't know Kasepa? You know Kasepa?
You see, that's how bad I am, Harvey. What is Kasepa, please? Okay, educate me.
So Kasepa is not carpenter or sardine. Yes, and it is not fish.
No,
either.
it's not. No.
What is it?
It's something. I don't know what do you call it?
I don't know, but
Kasepa.
It's like a catfish, but it's a bit bigger.
It's like a carpenter, but it's bigger.
Okay.
And they normally prick in the mouth. And for whatever reasons, they die with sand in the gears.
Really?
Yes.
Always.
So that one...
Always.
Eh?
So when you eat it, it's got...
Yeah. It's not... Yeah. And it used to be cheap. So carpenter... Just as an example, carpenter would be a meda, would go for 30 kwacha. Then Kasepa, a meda, same quantity would be like 7 kwacha. Yeah, so people back in the village, those that you see, they are poor people. Then amongst the poor people, then there are poor people. So those who are really low, they would then buy Kasepa.
Wow.
So I remember at one time, I was contributing to a conversation that I had with my friends. So when I was just contributing something, one of them just shouted and said, iwe choka hapa kaziwe che kugurisa Kasepa. So they laughed. It was so painful, but I said these words to myself. You do not know my journey. Those are the words that I said. You do not know my journey.
Did you say that to the person?
I had a challenge then. The challenge I had back in the days was, in fact, I have actually fought 2 battles in life.
Okay.
It is poverty and stammering.
Really?
So then I used
stammer?
to... Oh, yes. I couldn't finish.
I couldn't
finish words.
The radical entrepreneur stammered. That's an amazing
I used
overcome.
to stammer. So when that guy said that, I couldn't respond back because I knew that if I tried to respond,
You'd be
then it would be more painful because it was already painful.
Correct.
Yes. So I just let the guy go. All I said was in my heart to say, you do not know my journey. Yes. And this is the message that I actually have for most people. Most people do not engage in business because they fear certain businesses that normally people will think,
laugh at
yes,
me.
no, I'm a graduate, I have... That is why they do not engage in business. There are certain businesses that are ripe that one can actually engage in, but they do not because they fear on how they'll be judged. So anyway, the journey continued from then on. I started trading in golds because I realized with the same kiosk arrangement, the Kantemba, whenever schools opened, it was very difficult for it to run properly.
Yes.
Yes. So
because you were not there.
Because I'm not there.
You were everything, typically with startups.
Yes. So then I wanted a business that I can manage. So I decided to engage in goats. So I would get in the villages, buy goats, then sell to Chibolia market.
Correct, where they would have all those people doing goat meat and stuff.
Yes. Then I realized that maybe the easier way of working it out is to buy goats using barter system. So what I would do is I would get into town, buy bicycles.
Yes.
And in fact, let me not even say bicycles, because I would buy a bicycle, then ride it to our village.
Okay.
Then the following
It's a
morning,
long ride.
yes, it is. Then the following morning, around 04, I would set off now, getting into deeper villages. And by the way, the bicycles I'm talking about, for those that have actually grown in the village, you know bicycles, a brand called Ego.
I was going to say Eagle, Luangwa bicycles.
Black one.
Yes,
The
yes.
black one.
Yes.
No, those are proper. Those
are proper. Yeah, those are
are
proper
solid. Huh?
That is a solid bike.
That's a bicycle. Njinga. Isn't it the one that can do? I saw in Nakonde, I could not believe it. I was saying this must be a modified bicycle. They could put, and I argued and we proved it, that they could load 10 bags of cement. I argued. I said, there's no way 500 kgs can go. They said, let's bet money, everything. And we called the guy. Munganyamule mabagi yali 10 at your boy side. And for sure, we loaded, real story, we loaded 10 bags. And then we said, now this I have to see. Like, how does a guy ride 500 kg? He rode it. We even gave the money. I said, from today, I've Shininkisha.
No, ego is ego. Those from the villages, they know that ego is ego.
An ego bicycle.
I was shocked, to be honest.
An ego bicycle is not. It's like it's the G-Wagon of bicycles.
Yeah,
true.
I agree.
It's the G-Wagon of bicycles.
Yeah.
So, oh my God,
so
there we
write
go.
it down. Write it down past Nampunde mine to some villages.
And this
in,
is the following morning now,
Shivunji.
04.
Yes, 04. So I'll write it down. So I'd set off around 4 and I would be in those villages around 9.
Wow.
That is Shivunji.
Yes.
Down that side.
Yes.
So then by 9, 10, I would actually exchange my bike with 4 or 5 goats. Then because of limited capital, I would then have to walk with those goats back to my village.
So what did you do? You had a rope? How do you?
Yes, so I'll tie one to the other.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, you've seen that?
Yeah, I've seen that.
I did that.
Wow.
So now the funny thing, you see, goats are very energetic
And very clever.
Yes. So the first half of the journey, they are literally running from one end of the road to the other.
Right.
Yes. So you have to keep running with them. Then the second half of the journey, they are tired. Then they start sleeping on the road.
No.
You know, they're just sleeping.
Like they just stop moving.
Yes. They'll just sit down. So then what I would do is I would tickle them. Then they would be re-energized for the next 25 minutes.
How do you tickle a goat?
No, don't ask me how.
Now this is something you Google.
That's a good
Don't ask me.
Yeah, he's already checking. You let us know.
So you tickle them, then they are re-energized for the next 25 minutes.
Wow.
So then you'd walk with them, then they'll be tired again.
Then
So
they
you
just sit
tickle
down.
them. Yes. So you tickle them again. So it's a journey that would set off from around 10. Then walk. By the time I'm getting to my place, it's maybe 01. Very tired. Extremely tired.
And what would you eat on the way going and the way coming back?
I would actually eat maybe on my way going, but on my way coming back, gods give no peace. You know, they are literally running around, and I wouldn't have time to do that. And by the time I get home, Rev, I would be so tired, such that I could, get my heartbeat from under my feet. Like you're really tired of walking.
Yes.
From 10 to the following day at 01. But here's the thing. Then I was just about 15, and the story is this. As an entrepreneur, you need to be a hard worker.
Yeah.
Now, this is something that most people forget. They
telling
feel
you.
when I start my business, I'll be the boss,
You
and
know
I
what I
can
mean,
decide
just
the time to
relax.
report and whatnot. The thing is, you need to learn to be a hard worker.
Doesn't that actually help to create the right culture for your company?
Well, it does. It does. And in fact, if you start out as an entrepreneur in your company, you must be the hardest working person.
Yes.
And in fact, some people think... And
You are
this
the
is where my
pace setter,
problem
aren't
is.
you?
Sorry?
You're the pace setter.
That's the thing. That's the thing. Most people think, you see, this is not my company. But when I start my company, I'll be a hard worker. Now, that is mistake number one, because you need to realize this fact.
Yeah.
Hard work is a trait.
Yeah.
And it's a trait that you build over time.
True.
So you can't just wake up and say, now, from today onwards, I'm a hard worker. You can't.
True.
It's something that you build over time.
Yes.
So it is important to be a hard worker. So, then from then on, the business grew. I graduated when I was about 16, 17. grade 12, immediately I had enough capital to go out and start importing things. So I started importing stuff from Botswana, duvets, blankets, clothes, and whatnot. And just at that stage, you see, those friends were laughing, Kaseva. Now I was also coming up and saying, no, I'm an international businessman. All because I would go to Botswana. Yeah.
Of course, but you're international. You cross a border.
Maybe.
No, but you cross a border.
Oh, yes. Well,
as long as you cross the border, because some of these people have got such major barriers that they've never crossed the border, let alone a province.
Oh, that's the thing. So Botswana, the business grew. I was getting to South Africa and importing stuff. Now I was a big boy.
And you know what I love about that? I love what you've raised is because it reminds me of this thing about barriers. And I remember many times, because I was told the same thing, that we need to cross these mental barriers. One of them is what you just mentioned. And a certain great teacher once said, you know what? You don't wait to drive.
Yeah.
Go get a license. You don't wait to travel. Go get a passport. You don't wait to go to the other province for a reason. Get on a bus and just go to Eastern. Get into Chipata, spend a night and come back. But the idea is just go.
Yeah.
So that there's barriers. If you fear Radisson Blue Hotel, go in there, sit down, order water, drink it in that environment. Break a barrier. Go on.
That's the thing. Yeah. So
So you were doing international. You were in South Africa.
Yes, and now I was a big guy. Well, I thought
I like that. No, but the point is, come on, let's remember, goats from 10 in the morning till 1 a.m.
Yeah,
definitely. That's a that's a quantum leap by any definition. Believe me.
And
by any definition.
Now, unfortunately, 12th March, 2010. I was robbed of my capital in South Africa.
Sure.
I was robbed at knife point. Do we have knife point? Or is it just gunpoint?
No, knife point, yes.
Yes, because they had knives.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bring all your money.
Yes. And they actually held me there. I gave up everything. Well,
so everything you had built, the goats,
everything, in fact, including the iPod that I had, because then iPods were the in thing.
Of course, so you could listen to music or preaching or whatever it is.
Yes. They got everything just behind Park Station in Johannesburg. That's where I lost it. The only money that survived, and I like saying this, the only money that survived was in my inner pocket. And Rev, once again, no questions.
Where the inner pocket is.
Yes. We close it there. Just know that it was in my inner pocket.
No, we when I was doing cross border with dollar, there was a time I did dollar, a lot of dollars. You buy dollars, you go, you sell them, you get T-shilling, you come, you buy stuff in Nakonde, you come back. So when I was doing that business, dollar. So we used to call it dollar burning. I had to make it to special trousers. The Nachi trousers had inside pockets because when you change from dollar to kwacha, you have a lot of kwacha. And if you have a lot of kwacha in those days, it was a bit tricky because you couldn't just come with all that kwacha because you'd be asked, why are you moving away so much? So that would attract attention. Not to mention the fact that people would be eyeing it. So we used to have a inner set
pocket.
Of pockets,
yes.
Where you put all the money.
I had one. You couldn't suspect.
And my lodge, I'll never go anywhere to any lodge. Bus job.
Oh yeah, yeah. So and from that little money that remained, at least it was enough to get me a ticket bag.
Shame.
With a little change. So what I decided to do with the change was that since all the capital is gone.
And at what age was this now? How old were you?
Then I was about 2010. How old was I? Yeah,
19, 21, 21, I think. Huh?
No, around 20.
Whatever. Yeah, but you were very young.
Yeah. So the little change that remained, I felt, no, let me not buy stock. I think let me just bless myself. Let me buy myself a suit that I've always wanted. And guess what? It was a white suit. Rev, it was a white suit, not white shoes. White suit.
I'm just
so I just said it was just a way of remembering to say, well, I was once a businessman. So
I'm just trying to think how you'd manage to keep this white suit white.
It was a crazy one. So that's how I got back. I went as a businessman, but coming back, I just came with a white suit, and just things crumbled. Then from then on, that was 2010. Later that same year, I had friends who were at the University of Zambia. So there was one who was doing computer science and was in his third year. So he was preparing his final year project now for the fourth year. So he was developing a package that would solve challenges that are in schools. It was basically a school management system.
Okay.
So then at the same time, there was another teacher who had gone to the University of Zambia to upgrade from a diploma to a degree. So he was a chui. Yes. Or a mature.
Yes.
So now this teacher was giving this software guy the challenges that are faced in schools. Then this software guy was developing his final year project just for his project, solving the problems that are faced in schools. Like take for instance, on a click, you can set up the timetable.
Correct.
Automatically. Accounts would be done automatically.
So literally an ERP, right?
That's the thing.
Wow.
So on a click, parents would receive an SMS of results and whatnot.
Yes.
So he was doing that. Then one time I found them chatting. Then this software guy says, give me your number. So I give him my number. Then he enters it on his computer. Then on a click, I receive an SMS of results, everything calculated automatically. I'm like, wow, from a computer. But how? He said, I know this is a project that he was so excited. Then I told the guy, you see, this is money. But how, Dumi? No, this is money. Fast forward, a company is born. The three of us, myself, the teacher,
and this
the software
gentleman
guy. Yes. So we had our first company and we were quite spiritual. So we actually called our company Glad Tidings. Software Limited. So that was our first company. And
I so love that.
And by the way, there is something that people need to learn on that. People should be willing to work with others.
Yes.
Most Zambian entrepreneurs and most of us think, this is my idea and
so
I
I'm
want
going
to
to work
do it
by
alone.
myself.
And you should be willing to work with others.
Yeah, I've learned a very tough lesson. You want to make a couple of million, sorry, not even million. You want to make a couple of 10,000 kwachas, yes, you can do it alone. But you want to make $1 million or $1 billion, you got a partner.
That's the thing.
Billions are not made by a single person.
That's the thing.
Ever.
So, we started making a bit. So by 2011, getting to 2012, we started making a bit of money selling the same packages. Now, unfortunately, when that guy graduated, he was the only guy who got a distinction degree in his school.
Wow.
So on the graduation day...
This is the guy who, the software guy.
The software guy.
Okay.
On the graduation day, actually, the vice chancellor at the University of Zambia said, no, we want you back as a staff development fellow. So now 2012 comes, this gentleman is set to go to the UK for a Commonwealth scholarship. So now since the guy is leaving...
And
not
he's
a technical
the software guy.
The software guy is leaving.
Correct,
and it's a software
because you have
company.
to do the patching, all
that's
those,
the thing.
Troubleshooting and all the
that's
issues,
the thing,
tickets.
debugging, and you're still setting up and whatnot.
Yes.
So he felt, no, we cannot run this. So I'm just an accountant, and the other man is a teacher. So we felt, no, and it had not yet grown to a point that we could employ a software guy.
Of course, because it was still at startup phase.
Yes.
Like.
So then what I said was, okay, from the monies that I've made, what I'll do quickly is I'll go back to the village and invest in tomatoes. Because 2012, around February, March, a crate of tomatoes was going for 150 kwacha, a crate.
So it was really good.
It was really good then. That was huge money then. So now my thinking is, with this money that I've made from this software thing, if I invest in tomatoes, by 2013, the same period, February, March, I'll make this much money. So fast forward, go to the village, bought a motorbike, and just as a way of comforting myself, it is rare that one would leave the village then go back. So just as a way of comforting myself, I'd say doing farming as a business. And you see, you have a motorbike, and so I look different. So I truly invested. Then February, March, true to it, we were picking every 2 weeks. The barest minimum we would pick are 1,000 crates of tomatoes, which was quite something. Now, here's the thing, Rev. If you're picking 1,000 crates, and let us assume the price for 2012, the same period, 150 kwacha, how much would you make every 2 weeks?
26,000 kwacha.
No. 1,000 crates. At 150 kwacha a crate.
1,000 crates at 100. Jeez.
That's 150,000 kwacha.
Yes.
Every 2 weeks. So meaning a month, I should have been making how much?
For 600.
No, 300. 300,000.
Oh, just 2 weeks.
It's 2 weeks, yes.
No, not 4 weeks. Okay, fine.
So 300,000 every
month.
month.
Sorry, month rather.
But then the challenge comes in. Soweto Market, a crate of tomatoes getting to Soweto Market was going for 7 kwacha. A full crate of tomatoes. Transport to Soweto Market was 6 kwacha. People picking at the farm, it was 1 kwacha per crate.
Yes.
And the crates normally are not owned by farmers.
Yes.
They are owned by people from Soweto Market who get a commission
for
from
using
the
those crates.
Yes.
So then, I have a question though. So sorry to interrupt, but then, so you say you invested money from the money that you made in
from the software
development and all of that,
Yes.
and cashing in on that. So
Yes.
how much money did you make from that to
From-
get
from the
yourself
software
to
thing?
Yeah, to get yourself to a point where you are cashing in on 1,000 crates of tomatoes for 2 weeks.
Okay, so that was about 60,000 kwacha.
60,000
Yeah,
kwacha.
60,000 kwacha.
And you invested how much of that?
No, all of it.
But then how much did you use to get the bike?
The bike was a 10,000 kwacha.
17,000.
I'm still thinking there about that much. Depending on the type, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, so no, it was a motorbike.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I got it
125cc?
Yes, 125cc.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and it's a certain brand. I've just forgotten the brand. Sun LG or something. Yeah, so it was a simple brand.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, but it's amazing because at the end of the day, I mean, I know our time is totally gone, but I would have really.
it's gone?
Yes, we need to take calls.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. So, well, quickly.
So, yes, anyway, so go on.
Yeah,
So,
so-
by the following year, okay, after all the complications of paying whatever you need to, the cost, the overheads, after getting rid of all the overheads, what were you taking away for each crate?
Literally nothing, because it was better leaving tomatoes in the field than picking them. Because if you pick them,
No.
you will remain owing the transporter. You will remain owing people that picked.
Even with such a profitable margin.
That's the thing.
Anyway,
It seems
I've
a
heard
lot of
it-
people thought of investing in tomatoes.
Yeah,
So,
no, I know. They all got, a good number got burned because they didn't time it.
That's the
Because
thing.
a lot of them didn't do their homework to time to know when the demand is high and when the demand is low. And I mean, that crates and crates rotting. And this is where I really think somebody needs to get into serious value addition.
That's the thing. So, well, then quickly, just as well,
But
giving a
digress.
summary.
Yes, but anyway. Yeah, so,
Yeah, so then from the tomato thing, luckily, my friend who was supposed to leave for the UK, for whatever reasons, things just failed at the last minute. So the visa failed and everything else. Wow. So I followed the
Talk
guy.
about providence.
So the guy is crying. I followed the guy. And said, no, you see, also myself this side, you see, I've lost it all. And in fact, well, unfortunately, then I also lost my girlfriend. So I'm like, I know you are just complaining about the visa thing. Me, I'm complaining on 2 things. There's this tomato thing, and my girlfriend is gone. And you see, there is that breakup which is nice, where at least it somehow prepares your mind, bit by
Yes,
bit.
'cause you kind of see
Someone
it's
is not
coming.
picking, then you prepare your mind. So mine was boom,
just from
it's
nowhere.
gone. No, lose my number. But what have I done?
You, my friend, have gone broke.
So then we come back together, but then the strategy changed. So we stopped moving from school to school. Then we moved to these provincial gatherings and whatnot. And we had a scenario where one province, gets the package, and we made in excess of 300,000 and
On your first deal.
Yes.
Wow.
And life changed. And I remember then I was in Mansa. Life changed from that side. And I just knew that life has changed.
Correct.
And, quickly got back to Lusaka. I truly felt it. In fact, I had no patience. We had gone to Mansa for 2 days training. On the first day, because I was receiving money. So on the first day, by 10 hours, I knew that life has changed. Then I call my friend who had remained in Lusaka, because the other guy was actually training.
Correct.
I call my friend in Lusaka and say, hey, check around
the
for a
software?
car. No, the software guy, we were together.
Oh, I
there
see.
was
So
that
the
other-
teacher.
Yes, was in Lusaka. So I told him, hey, search around for a car.
Quickly.
Quickly. By 14 hours, I was in Mansa branch, Zanako branch. Wired money. Bought my first car, and it was a Ranex. Got back to Lusaka.
On the run. Oh, no. The Runex was here.
Was here.
Ah,
So
okay.
the following day, we just got down in the training. I told my friend, no, we are going back to Lusaka. No, we can sleep. It is no, me, I can't sleep here. I need to go back. Reaching Lusaka, stepping out, I'm stepping in my car for the first time.
I'm telling you.
And from then on, went and searched around for an apartment. Since I stayed too much in the compound,
Correct.
I said the starting point for me is Kawata going up.
I love that.
Then I met a landlord who tells me she was a widow and says, Pano sinifuna vawani manfi inanifuna 3 months in advance. Now she doesn't know. So I tell her, now then also myself, I was very scared. I didn't know whether I would make so much more money again.
Correct.
So I'm
So
like,
let me-
nanga mamini ngaripire 1 year in advance. She says, vesinikuziwani katika tuna satanist.
Oh my God. We have some barriers. We have some major mental barriers.
Yeah. So quickly, you know, other
So there was
provinces
this,
came on board.
so you see, that's what
and
I'm telling you, that it's a quantum leap. That's an
I think
talking
that was
quantum leap.
that was a defining moment.
Yes.
So from then on, you know, other provinces came on board, and I decided to fulfill my childhood dreams. But remember when I was talking about when those friends were
Driving,
we were talking of
and then they
trucks
said
and
me I could
whatnot.
be a driver,
Yes.
yes.
So I thought of fulfilling that. So then I got into trucks, you know, into transport. So I was just buying trucks, and not these small canters. I'm talking about truck and trailers. And then I was just about 23 years old. So I have these 30-ton trucks. And of course, it also came with its own challenges. Yes, because I
Transport
remember
is
at
very
one time,
challenging.
yeah. Well, I remember not just challenges of transport, but people couldn't believe that such a young man could actually own trucks. Because I remember at one time, one of my drivers had trouble at Kabangwe checkpoint. Then the traffic cop said, "I want the owner
Of this vehicle.
of this truck." Yeah. So I told the driver, "No, sort yourselves out." But he insisted that the cop wants you. So when I got there, I've never seen a cop shout at a driver like that. You know, he shouted, very annoyed, furious. Iwe nakuza titana bene bake, noti mwana wa bene. I mean, I told you to call the owner, not the son to the owner of the trucks. Yeah. So it had, you know, such challenges. But
Yes.
well, we pushed through. But unfortunately, the unthinkable happened. 24th August 2014. One of my newly added trucks was involved in an accident from Siavonga to Kafue. Now, this accident had so much attached to it. The driver had loaded 8 unauthorized passengers who were badly injured. When the truck flipped, it had over 600 bags of FRA maize, and more than 500 were looted on the scene. And in fact, some people can be so heartless, well as people were in the wreckage,
Injured.
mourning for help. People are looting maize.
Yeah.
In fact,
We've seen it at accident scenes as well. Buses. When buses overturn, that's normally what happens.
And in
They
fact-
come and even search people.
In fact, I do not shy away from saying this. The time I got to the accident scene, I saw a blue Land Cruiser. I'll not mention the number plate, but a blue Land Cruiser for people who are law enforcers. They had bags of maize at the back. Now, I can just assume maybe they were just coming from the fields. I don't know. But that is how bad things are.
Yeah, it's a very common thing.
Yeah, so it was a total loss. I remained owing the government, and people needed compensation. And foolishly, on my side, the truck wasn't properly insured. So I had to meet all expenses from my back pocket. Then I approached the FRA guys. You can pay me for the works that I've already done, because you see there are these families that want compensation. Some of them were actually claiming as far as 300,000.
No.
Like just for one. So it was quite tricky. So what I decided to do when funds were not coming in from FRA, I decided to sell everything. Then I started afresh, and I formed DLN Technologies and a construction company. Then the things grew. By the time we are getting to 2015, 16, I began receiving awards, and I've traveled
All over the place. And that's a really amazing story. In fact, it's a pity time is so limited, because there was so much you could have, gone into. But truth be told, well, I don't know if I should mention. Let me know if I can mention you. But she's like, he's 30 years old. One of our people here is monitoring the show. Thanks for monitoring. Like 30 years old. Yes, you're 30 years old with such an amazing story. And for me, what really blows me about your story and exemplifies what we've been speaking about is this whole idea of a quantum leap. Because in quantum leaping, the concept has been that people should grow in incremental size.
Yeah.
But those who understand quantum leaping say that you can actually jump phases. And your story is classic example of jumping phases, because your story, that's why when you were 23 and you go to sort out your truck, the cop could not buy into that, because it's like, no, there's no way mwana waso angazinka na truck yaso.
Yeah.
So we have some serious challenges, and I think a lot of us are challenged, myself included, to see what possibilities can happen for people that are focused like yourself. And I think that's a massive inspiration.
Well, I think things have to change, because you see, by the time I was 28 years old, I had the workforce of about 300, and people couldn't believe it.
And you've mentioned that. I've read on many of your profiles. You say that, look, we have 300 people employed.
Yes, so I think things can change, and we need to now realize that it is possible. We can actually make it.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I believe you totally. And because I know that there are examples like you and a number of others who at your age have been able to do amazing things. Yeah. And so we can imagine where that's heading to. Now, I know we only have like really tiny minutes before we close. Yeah. And by the way, to all of you listening out there, Dumisani is back next week, because we're going to be now discussing where we are as a people, as a nation. We don't do politics on Prosperity Insights, so just know in advance. It's not politics. But I like to discuss where we are as a people. I like to discuss this concept of abundance in poverty. Yeah. No, poverty in abundance. We are such a rich country, but there's so much poverty. So what is it that we can do to see ourselves coming out? So you're going to be tackling that next week, and we're going to be talking about it. But what I want to do is in 2 minutes, if it's been possible, to just take a call. We can't take a call in one call, one lucky caller. One lucky
person. One lucky person. And we have a caller. Hello?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm okay, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Who are we talking to?
This is Warren.
Warren. Okay, Warren, talk to us.
Mr. Ncube, good evening.
Evening. How are you?
I'm very fine, sir.
Wonderful.
Yes, I'm a very ardent follower of your post on Facebook.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah. I also started my grade 1 somewhere in Amfundwe, and I attended your seminar last year in Lungushi.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. But I just wanted to find out if you have the features on one of your websites at DNL. If
I have a what?
The features, the chart in getting the features. I may wish to know for January 2020.
If I have a what?
Repeat that, sorry?
I'm saying the chart that displays the fees at DNL.
I don't think we hear you very well.
I need you to speak very slowly.
Okay, I'm saying the fee chart, the fair chart for the fees at DNL.
Oh, a fee chart. Do you have a fee chart and details of how they can subscribe to be part of the school that you're running, the institution, on your website?
Oh, great.
Is it there?
Is it there?
Yes, it is.
Oh, great. So just go to his website. He'll mention the website just now.
Okay.
Sorry?
He will mention the website just now.
All right.
Okay, thank you very
Matthew.
much. All right, so that was the one and only call. Please.
Okay, so
website.
We have DLN Entrepreneurship Institute, and that is an institute that trains people to become entrepreneurs. I think that is where my passion is.
Absolutely.
So you can visit us on www.dlninstitute.org.
Very easy. You've heard that at dlninstitute.org. That's
www. Or get to my page, then inbox. We can give you all the details.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. So very, very powerful. So your parting words. Next week you're back. Definitely, we're going to really take it to the next level. But your parting words to somebody listening out there.
Wow, I think it is about time that we actually owned up. It's about time that we realize that the future of this country is in our hands. We cannot keep depending on the government, as it were. Most people think, it is the government. Well, they should prepare an enabling environment. But ultimately, we need to own up and realize that a bright future is dependent on us.
Yes.
So we need to do the best that we can as citizens individually.
Yes.
Yeah.
I could not agree more. In fact, I think on Prosperity Insights, we have been singing this song for years. So thanks, Dumi. We look forward to seeing you next week. A number of people are coming to and like, what? They catch on out. You should have told us. But anyway, they always do that. But
next week. He's back next week.
And then for all of you who listen to this show, we're now live not live. We now upload our shows on my YouTube channel. So go to Rev Walter Mwambazi on YouTube. Just search for that and you will find a link to the show. So this show will be uploaded by Sunday, so you'll have it up on that, and you can go and find the previous show, and every other show is going to be there. So definitely you'll be able to catch my brother here, Dumisani, and this show we've had, and look forward to have him next week, because he's coming back next week, and we're going to be talking further about the current scenario and where we are headed, the possibilities of what's there for all of us as Zambian people.
Limitless possibilities.
Indeed. So from myself, back to you, man. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.
Okay, so this has been Prosperity Insights on your hot station, number one for news and entertainment. The guest today has been Dumisani Ncube, and Rev has signed out. Radio After 6 continues on the other side.